Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahweh Bahasham, Barakahakwadash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure unto the end. This is the brother Ra'aya with another video, and I'm going to start it off with Mark chapter 3, verses 24 to 25, and it's in red letters when you look at it in the Bible, so it's Yahushua speaking. And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And when you look at any great empire, kingdom, government, country, or whatever throughout history that had a high point and then eventually fell, what was the reason for it falling? It decayed internally. It started off strong. You know, they had their conquests and conquered lands and people. But then when they got comfortable, they got to that decadent stage where they lost their original identity of themselves. You know, they lost their moral fiber. They became indulgent in pleasures, you know, sex, food, you know, materialistic things, etc., and they became decayed from the inside out. They were divided and they fell. And it's going to be no different with the United States of America, which is ruled by the biblical Edomites, or these so-called white people, as well as, you know, Esau's kingdoms as a whole globally. We can see, especially in the Western world, that Esau's countries are what? In that stage of decadence and decay, losing their moral fiber, their original, you know, identity of themselves and what made them themselves. They're indulgent in decadence. The list goes on and on. And now, as we're about to go into with a clip that was posted on Daily Loud's Twitter or X page, you've got U.S. senators, you know, having words with each other and fights almost breaking out on the Senate floor. Hey, a kingdom and a house that's divided against itself cannot stand. And this is you know, just a very big example of what's going on with your average everyday American out here. A lot of these people are mistrustful towards one another and, you know, divided against each other, which is ultimately going to lead into civil unrest in this country, you know, a second civil war. When the situation really gets bad, you know, the economy collapses, those food shortages really hit, and what? These lights go out. Hey, these people are going to go for what they know, survival of the fittest, banding together in whatever group or ideology they belong with and going at each other's throats. Blood will flow through the streets of the United States of America, and it's all a part of biblical prophecy. But before we play that clip, this is Isaiah chapter 19, verse 2. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. And this isn't talking about the ancient Egyptians or Mizraim, who were Hamites or so-called Africans. This is talking about the modern day spiritual Egyptians as pursuant to Revelation 11, verse 8. That great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. These Americans, especially these Edomite Americans. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight, everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And like I just said, in the United States of America, you know, people are damn near divided at every level along religious lines, political lines, gender lines, etc., etc. And when these situations, you know, these creature comforts are taken away and this, you know, social infrastructure and this economic infrastructure collapses, these people are going to be going at each other to survive and, you know, to take out those frustrations they've been feeling towards each other for these last couple of decades. But without further ado, let's play this clip showing these Egyptians, starting to rise against each other, brother against brother, city against city, kingdom against kingdom. And this is a fair use copyright disclaimer. I do not own any of the footage in this clip, nor do I stand to gain from it monetarily. It is simply for educational purposes. And remember, this is supposed to be our leaders who know what's best for us running the country, which we can clearly see they're running it into the ground. And there's another divide there amongst these Egyptians, these politicians against the average everyday Americans. These politicians only care about their lobby groups and who fills their pockets and funds their campaigns. And really, they're taking marching orders from the elites to, dismantle and destroy this country. So there's another divide. The elites also against the average everyday Americans. And it's eventually going to get to the point to where these people are going to be coming after these politicians and getting their ass as well. I did a video a couple of years ago on an article talking about how over the successive years that threats towards U.S. politicians has been steadily increasing. And in the article I profiled in that video, people were making threats like, look, I'm going to come, I'm going to kill your family, I'm going to skin you alive, etc., etc. And even with our mayor down here in New Orleans, LaToya Cantrell, who's a Eve or a so-called black woman. Hey, she's gotten several threats from Edomites, saying, look, we're going to hang you till your body rots. Hey, it's getting real out here. And as the situation continues to deteriorate and we get closer and closer into full-blown Jacob's trouble, it's only going to get worse. But let's play this clip.
Like he's self-made. Sir, I wish he was in the truck with me when I was building my plumbing company myself, and my wife was running the office, because I sure remember working pretty hard and long hours. Pretends like he's self-made. What a clown. Fraud. Always has been, always will be. Quit the tough guy act in these Senate hearings. You know where to find me. Any place, anytime, cowboy. Sir, this is a time, this is a place. If you want to run your mouth, we can be two consenting adults. We can finish it here.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand your butt up.
Oh, hold on.
Big
Oh,
guy.
oh, stop it.
Is that your
All right.
solution,
Hold it. No, sit down. Sit down.
Okay.
You're a United States Senator. Sit down.
Active.
Oh, okay.
Sit down, please.
All right.
Can I respond, Mr.
Hold
Sim?
it. Hold it. If
Hold
we
on.
can, no,
This is
I have
what
the
he
mic.
said.
I'm sorry.
This is
Hold
what
it.
he said.
You'll have your time.
Okay.
Can I respond?
Oh, no, you can't. This is a hearing.
Hey, our so-called leaders, doing what's best for us in the country. What a joke. If you're seeing this happen at this level, this country is through. The Egyptians are rising against the Egyptians, and if a kingdom be divided against itself, it will fall. And the United States of America is definitely at the end of its ropes. And if you're honest with yourself, you can clearly see that. But now I'm going to go to 2nd Esdras chapter 15. In the Apocrypha, I'm going to read verses 15 to 15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another. And that one people standing up and fighting against another can go into many different things. One race of people standing up and fighting against another, which we know there will be racial skirmishes in these last days. Read Matthew chapter 24, nations rising against nation. One political group rising against each other, left versus right, blue versus red, liberal versus conservative, gender conflicts. And we can clearly see that the relationship between men and women is it's a joke in this Western world, especially in the United States of America. Hence why you got things like passport bros, religious, conflicts with so-called science, with those that believe in a higher power against those that, don't, atheists, gender identity politics with all these pronouns out here, so-called straight versus alphabet people, class warfare with the rich and the poor, and political conflicts between these different political groups the higher ups, as well as, the average everyday American against those in the government, because they know that they don't have their best interest at heart. And swords in their hands, and that modern day sword, especially in the United States of America, is that gun. And these guns are going to get to be used out here. Verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men. And that word sedition means conduct or speech inciting open rebellion against a ruling authority or monarch. Hey, these people are going to go against their elected officials, so-called elected officials, and invading one another with swords in their hands. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. And your modern day kings are these people in the government: mayors, senators, governors, presidents, prime ministers, as well as the authorities that uphold the system, like the police, the military. And the course of their actions shall stand in their power. And when the chips are down, these people are going to go for what they know: survival by any means necessary. And again, if we've got politicians that are supposed to be the adults in the room, talking about getting into fistfights on the Senate floor, that just goes to show you how degraded, the U.S. government is. And again, a kingdom that's divided against itself cannot stand. So that's it with this video. And with this video, I hope you sincere Aki and Akwath were edified. Just keep strong. As we can clearly see, we are almost out of this wicked kingdom of the heathens, chiefly of the Edomites, especially in the divided states of America. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharala, and until next time, Shalom.